She just started off a hit.
I just felt in my heart it was going to be a big success.
It amazed me how many big stars were on that show.
Who knew what was going to happen, how successful I would be, or the show would be.
And we all worked together very, very well. We became a family.
They didn't ask anyone if they could sing.
But you're a big deal the day it started.
Which isn't too bad for a band that's fake.
When we're singing, when we're singing.
I've always been very involved with music and have music in a lot of my plays, and I thought it would be terrific to do a show like that. When I wrote the show, it started as a garage band. It was supposed to be a very small time.
That was kind of rare for an era where sitcoms were basically about talking horses and nuns that flew and, you know, genies and stuff like that.
At that time, you have to go back, we're talking about over 30 years, and think about how did families live, and what you realized is that it was focusing on really family relationships, and this family happened to be performers.
Partridge was the name of somebody on my soccer team in England. I think it's probably an English name, but oddly enough, everybody on that show in some way was connected to my family. My daughter's name is Laurie. Her boyfriend was Keith. Our dog was called Simon. You know, they got a female dog, so they called it Simone.
Singing it out to the people, singing it out to them all.
What's a woman my age doing singing with a bunch of kids that are old enough to be, well, my kids?
Shirley was originally offered the part of Carol Brady on the Brady Bunch the year before, but at that time didn't feel the show was right for her and wasn't exactly sure she wanted to do television yet.
I was doing films and movies and everything else, and the powers that be, agents and all, said, don't do a television series, you'll be, you know, the character for the rest of your life. But when I read it, I thought this is going to be a hit show because it has more than anything else I've seen on television.
She was originally written to be divorced, and the network said, no, we can't have a woman divorced. It's okay to have her husband dead, but it's not okay to have her divorced.
It all started 3 months ago in our home in a small town in California. My husband had died suddenly 6 months previously, and I was working at a local bank.
Someone at the network, some idiot, you know, said you can't put a divorced woman on camera. She was a working mother, which at that time was more rare than it is today.
I'm worried about you, Mom. You're too old to be working.
Thank you, honey. You just made my day.
That was one of the big reasons I took the role, because she was a unique lady for the time of television sitcoms. All of these mothers that stayed home and wore the aprons and wore the dresses, and Shirley Partridge wore miniskirts and boots, you know.
I'm here, you're here, I don't care where you've been before. You're the sweetest thing I ever saw.
Well, the producers came to me and asked this famous question, what do you think of your stepson, David Cassidy? And I said, what do you mean? What do I think of David Cassidy? He's my stepson, you know, I love him. And they said, well, we are considering him for the role of Keith Partridge. And we want to make sure that you have a good relationship with him. I said, oh, that's fantastic, yes.
I showed up on the set to do the screen test, and I see this blonde, and that looks like Shirley.
Well, David knew nothing about it. And he came on the set.
I walked closer to her, and sure enough, it's Shirley Jones is standing there. What are you doing here?
And I said, I'm your mother.
I have a date with Carol on Saturday, but Danny says I'm broke. Now, what am I supposed to tell Carol?
You might simply tell her the truth.
Mom, you don't understand women at all.
I did not want to do it, but my father was a great influence on me, and he had to sort of twist my arm to do it. I was becoming a very credible actor, and I knew with dialogue like, hey, Mom, can I borrow the keys to the bus?
Sorry, I almost forgot. Can I borrow the keys to the bus?
There was no part. I had like 8 lines in the pilot. What I got to do was be the lead singer, guitar player, which was fun, but I also knew it was like, you know, I'm 19, I've been to 5 Hendrix concerts, I'd watched Clapton. Those are the artists that I was really connected to, and I knew that the music would be geared towards a much younger audience, so I was very reluctant.
Actually, I'm in love with my guitar, but I'd look ridiculous taking it to a drive-in.
Well, in comedy, we have what we call the comedy norm. And I would say Shirley was probably, in writing terms, the comedy norm. She was the rock. She was solid. Everything was measured from her.
I took my lead from her because she was the star of the show, and I never tried to usurp that at all. She taught me a lot and how to handle myself.
Do I look all right?
Great for a mother.
Shirley Jones was the star, and she never let on, not once. She was never late. She was never locked in her dressing room. She never, needed her car washed in Evian.
Did you hear that? It sounds like coyotes.
When the Partridge Family was created, the idea was, right off the bat, we don't care if these people can sing, all we want them to do is act.
They didn't ask anyone if they could sing. And Shirley said, David's a very good singer. He sang on Broadway, and, I heard him in rock and roll bands and things when he was in high school.
But they had no idea he was that kind of singer and that he could play the guitar like he did. Then all of a sudden, they saw what they had, and they said, wow, we can make recordings. This is incredible. We have a star here with us.